And here is the winning boss. Anna Slot speaks to us live now. Well, congratulations, first of all, Anna. How would you sum up the 90 plus 10 minutes that we've just experienced?
Now, when I heard you correctly, you were saying a football match. I'm not too sure if I saw a football match today. It was set piece after set piece, long throw. It didn't have a lot to do with tactics, what I said before the game. But I liked a lot how we stood strong. Very difficult first half hour, 45 minutes. But we didn't collapse at all. We stood strong. And as a result of that, we came 1-0 up. They going down to 10 men, you would expect that that is a big plus for us. But yeah, when a goalkeeper takes every free kick, then there's not so much help if you are one player up. And that's why it was so difficult for us to bring the 2-0 over the line.
Boss, congratulations. As you said, Jamie and I played a lot of games like that back in the days. Trust us. But Jamie and I spotted something.
Playing style then.
Jamie and I spotted something on the free kicks. A lot of the free kicks, the line that you were having, wherever they were trying to throw the ball in, you had it very low. The line was very low. And on the goal, Van Dijk decided to go really high. And what was the thought process of that? You got punished, and it's easy now because you got punished. It's easy for us to bring it up. But you did it the whole game. You played low to attack the ball, and on that one, you went high.
True. I don't think it's fair to blame Virgil. It's a combination. He has contact with us at the bench. All the other ones were further up the pitch, so we know what their idea is. They bring the ball to the D, then Burn is there attacking a ball, trying to make it difficult. There were a lot of difficult situations for us coming off that, so either a second ball or a throw-in or another corner kick. So at that moment of time we decided that because the ball was so deep, that it was smarter not to get a second ball inside our 18-yard box again. But that was definitely the wrong decision in that moment, looking back at it.
You expected, there was aggression, there was everything, there were injuries, there were sending offs, and there was a last-minute winner in added time from a 16-year-old.
Yeah, obviously we all know it's a difficult place to come. We all know that there was a lot of oil on the fire, I would say, this week in order to get especially Newcastle fired up. And what happened tonight, obviously, was expected. I think for us, the disappointed part is that we conceded 2 of set pieces, and that shouldn't happen. But overall, great 3 points, move on, and focus on the next one.
How much credit do you give Newcastle? Because they looked as if they had 11 players on the pitch towards the end.
Yeah, you know, obviously free kicks, corner kicks, obviously then the pressure gets on, and they have the quality. I think if you look at all the traditional top 6 here last year, I think there's only a couple that actually managed to beat them. So it's always a difficult place to come. And it was today the same. You know, I think I enjoy this type of atmosphere as well, so I was really looking forward to it. But I think we could have made it a little bit easier if you don't concede those set pieces, and then you give them the boost and the feeling and the drive that with the fans behind them, of course. And but we managed to get the 3 points and we move on.
You say you enjoy these kind of evenings, these nights at St James's Park, but you yourself, you were involved in that sending off on the receiving end of that foul. What did Anthony Gordon say to you as he was trying to talk to you on the pitch?
Well, I said to him, if this is not sending off, then I don't understand football. So I think it was already strange that the manager has to go to the monitor, in my opinion. But listen, unfortunately, these things happen in football. If you meant it or not, it happened. We move on. That's it.
A word on Rio. I know we spoke about him briefly at the start of this interview, but to finish it off, it was the coolest of finishes, and at such a young age as well, just coming on, Premier League debut, boom.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a dream debut for him. I think that whole attack was quite good. Harvey, I think, started it, or right-hand side, and obviously I think Freddy did the dummy. So it was a perfect attack. We stayed calm towards the end as well, try and find the right solution in order to score a goal. And we did it. So I'm very, very pleased for Rio. I've mentioned it before to him already. It's all a start now. He has to keep working hard and stay humble, but definitely have to enjoy this, because these nights you can't take for granted, of course, if you're in his position. And I'm sure with the players that we have, he will be back in training and having a hard session tomorrow again, and then we carry on.
I saw Curtis celebrating with him at the end, spraying with him with a bottle of water, because that's all they've got at hand. How long does it take, Virgil, to get that rhythm and to find that rhythm that you became champions last season?
Games. That's the only way. I think there were many good things today. Obviously, what I said, I think the beginning was very intense. All was expected. If you're going to try and be sure that you're the best team on the ball, they will come and attack you from behind and press them, with the fans behind them. So we had to be a little bit more direct. And at a certain point, when the fans started to quiet down a little bit, then you have time to play. And I think we did that well. And like I said, it's a very tough place to come. And with their fans behind them, great fans, and it's always difficult to come here.
Rest well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you.
Because he has the best insight of this from anyone off the bench. I mean, as I said, unfortunately, yours wasn't the winner, but you can know what it means to come through, get your opportunity, and come off and score like this. But he's been on the pitch less than 5 minutes.
And absolutely. I mean, it was a wonderful finish. He's obviously got a lot of talent. Maka sees him a lot, or has seen him a lot at the academy. He's a very direct player, got great feet. He is exciting. Possibly, a lot of people thought he was too young, maybe. Would he have had his chance if happenings hadn't occurred over the summer? Liverpool losing 3 attacking players. But these things, are meant to be in many ways, and he was meant to be there today in that position with that incredible finish. I mean, the confidence of him to do that. The best thing about that finish was there was really no options. The ball coming from that side on your right foot, it is a hard right foot, side foot finish into the far corner. There are no real options. Yes, you can pull it into the near post, but that really is the obvious option. So he didn't have anything on his mind other than, right, this is the finish, this is what I'm going to do.
And the one thing you would say, Mo, he has scored a couple of goals in pre-season, which may or may not have helped.
Massively helped.
But the fact that he's played at Anfield...
But that situation's different.
That is a different situation. And Liverpool saved their best bit of football, their best move to the 100th minute. I mean, talk about getting out of jail, talk about getting out of trouble and rewriting a new game. If they would have finished 2-2, you would have thought, how on earth have Liverpool got away with a draw? And then they go and get 3 points out of it. No wonder Virgil kept on saying, we move on, because the more you focus on it, the more errors, the more questions you've got. And it was an incredibly strange performance, but an magnificent result. Very strange. I felt sorry for Newcastle. I really did. Everything went against Newcastle tonight, and then they concede in injury time like that.
And we feel sorry for Mo as sort of year by year his records tumble. I mean, in fairness, you've held this one for a long time, but you have been knocked off your perch as Liverpool's youngest ever Premier League goal scorer. Maka almost made that graphic, by the way. 19 you were with research when you scored for the first time.
Okay, well, why didn't you put it on there?
They could have elongated it.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, the producer, who does this, not me.
Is that Sean? Was he a Newcastle fan? No, he's not a Newcastle. Hubbs is a Newcastle fan. But he's
as your friend, I was mentioning that you scored at
goalie.
19. But yeah, he's beaten some names.
And the good thing is, listen, players can be decent and showing a bit of form and showing some talent, and maybe at the end of the season there's nothing on it and they come on and they score the 5th goal in a 5. That was the real deal today. He'll always look back on that and think the feeling of scoring the winning goal, it wasn't just his first goal ever. It was so important. I know we're early on in the season. You don't want to be losing ground. Liverpool have got Arsenal next. All of a sudden, if they get beat there and they're 5 points behind, that's a lot of catching up. I know it's a long season. You don't want to be doing that. That is such an important goal for Liverpool. Forget who scored it, but that lad now.
We welcome you in studio. Ahmed Fareed here with Danny Higginbotham and Robbie Mustoe. What did we just witness? The 16-year-old with 3 letters on his back gives Liverpool the full 3 points in this one. So Danny, improbable, the swings back and forth. What's your takeaway after seeing what just happened?
2 teams full of character for very, very different reasons. The way that Newcastle came back when they were down to 10 men, went for it. Got the better of Liverpool to a certain extent as the game went along. Second time that Liverpool have given up a 2-goal lead in 2 games. But then the character of Liverpool then to come back, and then you've got a player like Ngumoha who just comes on. And it was really interesting to watch the end. Like, all his teammates are saying, go on, go and see the fans. And then, you know, his manager, Arne Slot, obviously giving him the opportunity, he just said, you know, what a moment this is for you.
But if that 16-year-old does not score that goal, the conversation we're having about Liverpool right now is completely different.
First off, what a game. What a game. I mean, wow, we love the Premier League, and that is some game, and these two teams serve up this type of game many times in the past. Takeaways, still... So I've watched Liverpool twice now, first two Premier League games. They've been 2-0 up, and they've conceded to get back to 2-2. Now, both times they come back and won. So that will still be a concern. Is there a casualness about their defending when they're in control of things? 2-0 up, are they casual? Are they strong enough? Kirk, as we talked about, Danny, about being not a huge fullback.
Yeah.
You know, even the direct ball over the top for the second goal for Osula. They switched off a little bit. That'll be a concern for the Liverpool manager. But Newcastle United deserve so much credit. I mean, to be 10 men, to be 2-0 down, Eddie Howe changes his system a little bit. He plays a 2 up front, 3 in midfield, makes the changes. They somehow find a way to put pressure on Liverpool. Long balls, direct balls, long throw-ins, set pieces, ask so many questions of them. It was a remarkable comeback. When we saw those 11 minutes, I think we both thought, that's a long time for Newcastle. Can they keep it going to try and force the extra goal? Should they have just taken a breath and said, whoa, we're back here? I tend to agree with what you said. Like, no, just go for it. Yeah. It's just, we did both think that there might be one more chance of Liverpool. Rio Ngumoha, this 16-year-old kid that was at a brilliant pre-season for Liverpool, scored a ton of goals, he looked $1 million, comes on to get the winning goal. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant stuff.
To Newcastle's credit, there were many times in that second half, you said it looks like Newcastle's the team that has 11 men and not 10 men.
Yeah, it was bravery. And, you know, I think especially when you're playing at home and you find yourself in a situation like that, the fans have a big part to play, huge part to play. And the reason I was looking at thinking, right, OK, it's 2-2. You end up losing this game 3-2. You know you're going to get applauded off by the fans. So you may as well go for it, you know, and try and get that third goal. And if you end up losing, it's still been an incredible performance. But they did get some injuries as well.
Yeah, they did. Liverpool's control will be a problem. Now, maybe Ékitiké and Florian Wirtz that are new to this league, I mean, there's been 2 very difficult games. Arne Slot, in an ideal world, will want more control than that. You've got a man up, you're 2-0 up, they've got to be able to take the sting with possession and with the football, but with the energy and the spirit of Newcastle United, they weren't able to do it, and that's full mark.
5 minutes of chaos at St James's Park, at the end of which Liverpool lead, Newcastle are down to 10. Liverpool committed 9 fouls in the first 25 minutes, the most in their Premier League history, but after that, a moment of calm, and Ryan Gravenberch took advantage, Jamie.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Newcastle absolutely battered Liverpool for that first half an hour or so. But just before this, Liverpool had kept a little bit of possession in terms of going nowhere, just trying to take the sting out of the Newcastle crowd. A poor throw-in from Kieran Trippier into Ryan Gravenberch, gets the wrong side of Joe Linton. And Curtis Jones has been one of the better Liverpool players, actually done well in this cauldron at St James's. But remember before the game, Arne Slot mentioned about Newcastle going into a low block at different times. Maybe this is something they spoke about before the game. Can they get the shots away? Because it's not normal to see Ryan Gravenberch take shots from the edge of the box. But he goes to shoot there. He thinks twice. A little bit of fortune, a little nick on the way there from Shah. But I cannot believe that right now at half-time, Liverpool are 1-0 up. Newcastle down to 10 men after what I'd seen in that sort of first 34 minutes when, as I said, Newcastle were fantastic. And that is football. I mean, I think it still goes in without the slight touch anyway, but yeah.
Newcastle have done everything at high speed, including trying to win the ball back. Is this come down to over-exuberance on Anthony Gordon's part today?
Yes. In our time, Jamie, we would have maybe... It would have been a foul. Maybe a yellow, not a red, but this is not our time. It is a red card. And at the time that it happened, I said red straight away. Why do you put yourself in this type of situation? I know you get carried away, you put pressure on one of the players, you go and put pressure on the goalkeeper.
What's the mistake he makes Thierry here then? Because he wants to go and close it now, he wants to win the ball.
It's too far to reach him. You know it's too far to reach him. He knows that. He gets carried away with what's been happening, and I can understand it. But you can't argue that is a red.
This is daft from Anthony Gordon because he was the best player on the pitch.
By a distance.
Before that, he was absolutely
so
fantastic.
good.
That's what happened to Virgil van Dijk's car. Simon Hoover overturning his on-field decision, saying the challenge is with speed and makes clear contact on the Liverpool forward calf. Anthony Gordon had to check for himself. Will they be kicking themselves, Newcastle, then?
They will be. Not because they're 1-0 down, because of that, the red card. there was always the chance that Newcastle could lose a player tonight. We've seen banners in the crowd into them.
Get into them, it said.
Yeah, there's been people, you know, even their ownership on social media, get into them. It's like sometimes you need to play with your brain, and obviously here as well. Now, they've done that brilliantly in that first half. They were fantastic, dominated Liverpool. Liverpool went at the races, didn't compete in the duels, which is what Arne Slot said he wanted Liverpool to do before the game. They didn't do that, but they've crossed the line, and ultimately it looks like it could cost them.
It looks a long way back.
Well, that was eventful. As I say, Liverpool lead now the 10 men of Newcastle by 1-0 at half-time. And fair to say, when Liverpool's goal arrived, that Newcastle looked far more likely to score a goal. But then from nowhere, Liverpool are in front, Matt.
Steve, you can't dress the first half up. Newcastle were by far the better team. Liverpool's goal was slightly fortunate the way it happened. Happened out of the blue. It surprised us all because they, I think, apart from the Florian Wirtz effort on goal, which was a weak effort, they didn't offer much. All Liverpool's best players and most important players constantly gave the ball away. So if you're a Liverpool fan, it's wonderful sitting here in the last 10 minutes and seeing how it's materialised. But Liverpool have not been great at all.
But they'll take it. I mean, an unlikely
Of
source.
course they'll take it.
Ryan Gravenberch's only scored once in the Premier League in his career.
They'll be pinching themselves at half-time, Steve. 1 goal up and against 10 men. I mean, it's certainly not gone that way, as Mac has said. I mean, Newcastle are probably the masters of their own downfall here. It was their throw-in. They give the ball away. I don't know where Trippier's going here. I mean, this is a really risky, but you need to be absolutely 100% that that's going to your player if you're going to throw it square into the middle of the pitch. At no stage was Joe Linton available. This, I thought, as soon as he gets it here, Gravenberch, I thought he was going to hit it, you know, take the touch and hit. And he takes a touch and another touch and another touch. And then I thought, the chance has gone, but gets a little bit of a tiny deflection shade. Goalkeeper has no chance in the end.
It's difficult for Nick Pope, it really is. I mean, it goes through one player's legs, it hits the outside of Scher's foot, and then it goes inside the post by, well, millimetres in it. I think it's a brilliant finish from Gravenberch. And for me, no chance for Nick Pope.
But how much of a sickener for Newcastle at that point was that? I mean, they'd had 6 shots to Liverpool's 1 at that point.
Look, it was one-way traffic for the first half an hour. There's no doubt about that. Newcastle were the better team. And we said off air they have to score because we know Liverpool would bite back at some stage. They had plenty of chances, and again, I suppose the obvious one is they didn't have a striker to put them away, with Isak missing tonight. And now, of course, Anthony Gordon, who's playing as the number 9, sent off, will miss 3 games. It's. I know the chairman's there tonight. He might have to get the chequebook out tonight after this, because it's nearly panic stations in the number 9 position for Newcastle now.
Well, it was a big incident just before half-time, as you say. The yellow card that was given on field turned into a red. Are everybody in agreement this is the right decision?
Yeah. Well, I am, yeah, certainly. And I just think it's absolute madness, I really do. I have no idea what is going on in Anthony Gordon's head. For the first 44 minutes, he was excellent. He was Newcastle's biggest threat. He worked hard. He's closing down. But this challenge, and then he's looking away from it. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If you're taking that kind of chance, he's not diving in front of Virgil van Dijk to try and block it. He's trying to come through him. So once that happens, he's just put his team right in trouble.
And there's the scar. I mean, is it a good use of VAR from John Brooks?
Absolutely. Perfect use of VAR. I mean, there's no question, is there? We can even see the marks on Virgil van Dijk. So there's no saying, oh, you know, he didn't catch him high enough. They're the marks. The evidence is there for all to see. He caught him high. There was a lot of force. Not a lot of force. I'd say a lot of intention. And he sprinted the whole way across. Now, Virgil van Dijk actually caught him last season. We did wonder whether there was a little bit of retribution, but the way Anthony Gordon closed down the fullback, then closed down the goalkeeper, then closed down, I think he was just intent on trying to win the ball, but I don't think it was necessarily retribution. I mean, this is it, Shay. This is last season.
Yeah. I mean, Van Dijk does leave a bit on him here. I don't know if Anthony Gordon's thinking about this right now, but I do believe he sprinted the fullback to the keeper, and then he's trying to get something on Van Dijk, try and get some sort of block, but he can't go through the back of him, Steve. You really can't. He'll look back at it. He'll be sitting in the change room now thinking, I've let my team down. Because he was the best player on the pitch first half.
He was. And in isolation, as I say, if he had just targeted Van Dijk and gone for him, I would have thought, ooh, there is retribution here. But
and even if he tackles in front of Van Dijk, and Van Dijk, as he's played kicks through him, and leaves a little bit on him. But to come in from the side and turn your head, I mean, it was like a winger's tackle. It's a tackle I would have made, an awful tackle. That's why I never tackled. Because you could see what he was doing. He comes in, he gets it wrong, and then he's turning away, so he doesn't know where he's going to end up. And that's what happens.
Big moment.